Everybody to this week's Ask the Expert. We're so happy you could join us. This is our 6th episode of Ask the Experts Online. We started this, as many of you know, my business model is by referral, and I am a small business owner. A lot of people don't realize that about real estate, but most of us are independent contractors who operate a small business. I believe very strongly in small business and very strongly in local business. A lot of times when the economy's in trouble, it's on the backs of small business that we make it out. So we wanted to find a way a few weeks ago when all this started with COVID to promote our favorite local businesses and maybe help them get some business and help get some great information out there, house and home related, safety related in some cases, how you can improve your home and live better and safer and healthier. And we could share a sense of community and again, disseminate great information. So that was how this all started. And we thank you for tuning in. Each week we have a conversation and introduce you to our latest expert. So this week we are introducing you to Tonya Chappell of Chappell's Cleaning Services. This is Tonya. Tonya, welcome.
Thank you so much, Ann. I really appreciate you having me today.
Well, we're so glad you could join us, and we're going to hear a little more from you later. For everybody watching, or if you're watching and you think somebody else might like this information, we are recording it so it can be made available later. That'll be on my Facebook page. It'll be on Tonya's. For everybody watching, or if you're watching and you think that was me. I just wanted to point to you guys.
Sorry, production issue.
We had a little technology issue, but we're getting used to those and we're good at going with the flow. So anyway, we are recording this so you can watch that flub many times. If you think this information would be good for somebody you know, pass it along. We would love for them to get the information. So I'm going to ask some questions of our guest in a little bit, and then she's going to answer, and we're going to share some great content, rich information on her area of expertise. And then if we have a little bit of time, we'll get to some questions. So if you have any questions along the way, you can send them through Facebook. You can text me or Jennifer or Tonya. So again, Tonya, thank you for joining me. Tonya owns and operates Chappell's Cleaning Service with her husband, Jeffrey. They have successfully run this business, and it's been growing by leaps and bounds for 5 years now. And they've expanded into some other arenas than where they originally started. They do commercial and residential work, everything from post-construction cleaning to window washing. And we're going to get into a little bit more detail on that later. First, I wanted to give you a quick update on the DC metro market. Now, each week I have shared with you some statistical information. I love the stats. I know they can get a little boring. So I'm going to give you the bottom line this week. In general, what you need to know is that contract activity, which is how many homes go under contract in a given time period, of course, it's down over where it was this time last year. But now it's only down 14.6% throughout our metro region. And just 4 weeks ago, it was down 45%. If you look at, a particular week, so looking at last week and comparing it to the same week the year before, we're only down 14.6% throughout the region, Maryland, DC, Virginia. And we were down 4 weeks ago, we were down 45%. So that's pretty impressive. But this week, I want to share a little anecdotal information with you. I have 3 listings in 3 very different areas, 3 very different styles, and 3 very different price ranges. So I want to tell you a little bit about my experience. Last week, we put a property on the market in Rockville at $700,000. We had really good showing traffic. And we ratified a contract above asking price after just 6 days, I think it was. We did not do an open house because we're not doing those now, but we are finding other creative ways to show the house. So we did a virtual tour. I got great compliments on how that helped buyers, agents, clients. So I heard from agents that was really helpful. And get this, the people who bought the house have never seen it. They looked at my tour and they went on a tour with their agent doing FaceTime with them. And then we've got another listing. It's in coming soon status right now. Lovely townhouse, beautifully updated. Great for, Tesla owner looking for a close-in house. It's got a charger in the garage. That's on North Wakefield. Jennifer's pulling up a picture of it now, or a bunch of pictures actually. That's on North Wakefield Street in the Ballston. And we're coming on at 1.24 million. That hits the market tomorrow. It's located. Now that was a potential spam call interrupting my conversation here. It is really, really well located and just beautifully updated. In fact, a former guest on Ask the Experts, Nikki Van Eck, did some of the design work on the main level with the owners, and it's just beautiful. And then we've got a really charming Cape Cod coming on the market in Indian Springs, which is a popular neighborhood in Silver Spring. That'll be in the mid 400 range. That's going to hit the very end of the week. And there haven't been any detached homes in that broad price range inside the Beltway in that part of Silver Spring since the COVID shutdown. So what I've noticed is that, well, what I'm curious to see is how the market responds, because what I've noticed is that regardless of these price ranges, locations, and styles, there has been a stranglehold on inventory and a thirst for good listings. So I'm hoping that the market responds really well. But if you know anybody looking for any of these kinds of properties, please let me know. And if you want to talk about your particular neighborhood, or want me to answer any questions about something you're interested in, we can always chat. So please reach out to me. But I don't want to delay anymore getting to our guest. And thank you for bearing with me for a little market update. Tonya, you and I have worked together on many homes for several years now, getting them ready for the market. I sent you a couple of homes that were trashed that I was embarrassed to send to you. You turned them around. It was incredible. But you do a lot more than just residential cleaning. In fact, now you've expanded in a lot of areas, residential move in and move out cleans, post-construction cleans, commercial cleans, carpet cleaning. And then I like to say you put a better shine on a wood floor than anyone I've ever met. It's unbelievable. So you can't refinish and you just need to get a really good shine on your floor. She has this amazing process. And you do window washing. And now you're doing some work related to COVID-19. And I was particularly interested in that because we always want to help people live in their homes better. So could you share a little bit about this work you've been doing that's cleaning and COVID-19 related?
So absolutely, and yes, we definitely had to make a pivot in our business to tackle COVID-19, and we provide some disinfecting services, and upcoming we'll start to provide some electrostatic cleaning, which is, you'll hear a lot of that in the market coming up. So those are some of the additional services that we provide, as well as sanitizing, of course.
Well, so you bring up I think we use a lot of these terms generically, and I am learning more about did you say electrostatic cleaning?
Correct.
But you touched on something else I wanted to ask about. What is the difference between cleaning, which I think we should all know what that means, but I have met people who clearly don't, sanitizing and disinfecting? Are those interchangeable or different?
And absolutely, they are not interchangeable. They are all a different process, the approach in which you go, and the products that you use. So to clean means to remove the soil from a hard surface. To sanitize means to use a product that actually kills a bacteria. And then when you mention disinfecting, that is using a product that actually kills not only bacteria, but also the virus. And that's what everybody wants right now, is the disinfecting services to kill the COVID-19 virus.
Yeah, I think that's weighed heavily on all our minds. And I do think people are using sanitize and disinfect interchangeably when in fact they're not. So that's a very good distinction to know, especially if people are hiring services for their businesses or their homes. They want to make sure they get what they think they're getting.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's what Chappell's Cleaning is all about, is educating the client, and customers. So, I'm glad that we're on the show here with you today.
Well, we're glad you're here too. And what sort of gave me the idea is you and I were chatting about something, I don't remember, and you mentioned you had been working on these 2 certifications related to COVID-19. So, and then I got really curious and I was thinking, oh my God, she might be good to have on Ask the Experts. So can you share with us the names of the certifications and who provides that training?
Absolutely. So there are 2 certifications that the team is taking. The first one is called COVID-19 Awareness. It is a product that is by 360 Training. All of our cleaners right now are going through that process or have already completed the class. And that's just basically awareness of COVID-19. That's part of our pandemic plan for when we return to servicing businesses. And then the owners, management, myself and my husband and our key employees, they'll be taking another kind of foundations training that goes more in depth of viruses and bacteria. And it is backed by the Global Biorisk Advisory Council. Sounds highly technical, but nevertheless, that is class, and that's also by ISSA, and we'll be taking that as well, getting certified.
I was going to joke with you and say, sounds like fun stuff to learn about, but I do kind of find it interesting. And, the story broke last week about that Dr. Fair, that virus researcher who got on the plane to New Orleans, that the plane was packed. And this guy researches the virus, so he knows all about it. Mm-hmm. He said everything around him down with alcohol, had on his mask and his gloves, and still got COVID-19. And he thinks it came through his eyes. So clearly we're all still learning about this virus.
Absolutely. I mean, this information about COVID-19 is very fluid. It's ever changing. So, it's only as good as the last information that we have. So that's why it's important for us to continue to educate ourselves as cleaners in this industry. And that's why I have our team taking those classes.
Well, it's really good to know, because I'm sure there will be updates to the education you get as it evolves. So, so what if somebody says they want to clean, sanitize, or disinfect their home? What might that look like in terms of can you expand on what you might do in someone's home if they asked you for these things?
Well, the first off is that before you can disinfect, anything, it has to be clean first, right? So there's a term that we use called dwell time. And dwell time is the amount of time that a product has to sit on the surface to effectively kill the bacteria or the virus. Now, you can typically find this on the cleaning product. If you have some Clorox at home, or if you have some Lysol, there is a EPA number that you can look up, and you can see how long that product needs to be applied to the surface. And these are hard surfaces, so not like, any type of fabric. We're talking about countertops, tables, things of that nature. And for Clorox and Lysol disinfectant, it's about 10 minutes dwell time to use for that product to work effectively.
I think Jennifer created a slide about this that she was going to pull up, just so people know where to look on the product, because the first time you mentioned dwell time to me, I had no idea there was such a thing. I mean, that was a brand new concept to me, and no one's talking about this. No one's talking about dwell time. So I'm going to put my glasses on and actually lean into my little laptop.
So yes, this is the back of the Clorox bottle, and we've put a little red circle around here, and you'll see the EPA, which is the registered number. And you can actually just go to EPA.com and search for this number. And when you see it, it'll tell you 10 minutes is the dwell time. And you can do this with any household product. This also will give you a great guideline is if this fights against, the bacteria, or if it fights against a virus. That'll let you know, because there are some products out here that's just meant for cleaning. So again, like you said, we use the words interchangeably, but the process by which we do it is very different.
You know what? That's really good to see, because I think people have this impression in their homes, like, they have somebody, come over. We had a situation where we were helping somebody with little kids, and they needed help, for health reason. And we had kids here. We didn't expect, but we wanted to clean carefully. And you kind of think like, oh, I'll spray the Lysol and I'll wipe it up and that's it. But that doesn't really do it. I mean, that might clean it, right? But it's not necessarily going to disinfect it.
Correct. I mean, that kind of brings me to that scenario that you're talking about. If we want to help people in our homes, if we want to start to, entertaining a little bit, of course, following the CDC guidelines. I know we're all itchy to get back out there and kind of, see our loved ones. But a way that we can protect ourselves along the way is by making sure that we focus on those high touch point areas. And that will be doorknobs, that would be faucets, light switches, things that are commonly touched majority of the time. That could be kitchen cabinet handles and knobs. Those are things that you will want to focus on. And that can help us to kind of practice our social distancing and still be able to, socialize a little bit more.
Yeah, because if somebody calls you and says, I have a stomach bug and I'm a single parent and I need help with the kids, I mean, yeah, you're putting yourself in a situation, but by the same time, it's very hard to say no, Like there are circumstances where I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And again, you're going to always hear me refer back to CDC guidelines, EPA. The main important thing is that we definitely keep our distance. We're wearing our mask. And in some cases, we want to wear our gloves as long as we're doing that properly. And then, just also getting those high touch point areas, that really, and hand washing is the most important of all of this, is hand washing.
Yeah. Well, you raised a really good point, because real estate in our region was considered essential. So, I'm more going back to work more now than I was when this first happened. I had colleagues who almost never slowed down. But when we've put some policies in place, I think McInerney's smart about this, and we have like an acknowledgement form people can sign. But what we've done is we've set up a little station where we leave gloves and food and hand sanitizer. And then I'm careful how I open the door, because I'm touching a door, I'm touching a lockbox, I'm touching a key, to get into a property. So I wear gloves and I have a Lysol wipe. But you were telling me that there's really a proper way to handle the gloves to minimize your concern. Would you show how people should do that?
Sure. Absolutely. So one of the things I had mentioned to you, and this is just, me, it's not in science, written in stone, but I like to put hand sanitizer on before I put my gloves on. I feel like gloves sometimes gives us a false sense of security. We may get extra comfortable after having the gloves on for a while, and we take them off and then we don't sanitize. So I feel like we're kind of double protection, right? So whenever you have your gloves on and you are taking them off, you definitely want to take them inside out like this. Put them inside of one another. My ring is getting stuck here. And then you toss them. But you kind of want to have one central place that you are putting your gloves, whether you're in a home or in an office or at your own personal place, and you want to dispose of that properly. Because keep in mind, if the virus was there, bacteria, anything, it's all on the glove. So you want that to go in one location, tie it up immediately, and dispose of that.
Okay, that's a really good pointer. So, as people go back, I mean, we called this interview, this conversation with you, Hygienic Home and Health, best practices from a certified expert, for a reason, because if people, I could see them doing in their homes or small businesses, have a little station right by your door, and just, ask people as a courtesy, would you, use the hand sanitizer or whatever it is, while you visit our place of business, or, that might be a great practice. None of us know how long this is going to hang around. So thank you.
Exactly. You're welcome. And I just want to say one last thing. And, when it comes to gloves, there's been a lot of videos on YouTube and things of that nature. But ideally, gloves are meant to prevent cross-contamination. So in our industry, if we go in to clean a restroom, we're going to discard those gloves when we finish before we go into a kitchen, right? So same thing with food handling industry. Let's just say people are allergic to pork. they will make a sandwich that contains pork, they're going to take those gloves off before they make the next sandwich. So the concept is the same. So we should not be walking around with our gloves all the time.
Right.
You go to one location, discard your gloves, go to another location, discard your gloves. And that way you're not, spreading anything that you might have from one location to the next.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I have found that I show property and then I take my gloves off and throw them on the floor of my car. But what I should like, no, Ann. What I should probably do is put a little bag in my car so everything can go in there. And at the end of the day, I can tie it up and get rid of it.
Exactly. And also, you and I had talked about the use of your cell phone while you are, showing the property.
Because that was a big one, because I didn't think about it. So I'll give the preface to how you corrected me on my behavior. So for you all listening, we have an app, and when I'm showing property, Tonya said, well, if you're out showing property, for instance, put your phone away before you get to the property, because you don't know what you're exposing yourself to, and your hands are on that phone all the time. And I was like, well, Tonya, I use the app on my phone to get into the homes. So I'm now opening the storm door, I'm touching the lockbox, I'm touching my phone. So anyway, now would you go into what you said might be a good, way to, even if you're not a realtor, just to manage our phones?
Right. I just think that whenever you go to your lockbox, you should do all of that again before you put your phone on. Before you put your gloves on. And that's why I was saying, okay, so after you go through all that, you get through the door, you sanitize, you put your gloves on, and you put your phone away. Now, the other thing I was saying, sometimes you need to take pictures. If you do, when you take those gloves off and you're sanitizing your hand, also sanitize your screen, because your phone has been out. And I think that's the best that we can do at this point.
Yeah, because I didn't think about it when you said it. I'm imagining the virus. Aren't you the person who said picture it's like mustard?
Yeah. I saw a video about that, and she uses mustard as an example, and you just see it everywhere. It's all on your face, and just imagine that you putting mustard, just a little bit of mustard, and how much that could spread from all the things that you touch.
So I envisioned this bright yellow mustard on my phone, which I later hold up to my face. And talk on, look at closely pressed buttons, maybe scratch my ear, whatever. And now I've spread that mustard like all over the place.
Absolutely.
The car. So very, very good advice. So everybody be very mindful of your phones. I do know some people who've been putting UV lights in their furnaces, which there's going to be, I think, more of those kinds of practices, which some have said is good for killing viruses and bacteria. And there's a new system called iWave, letter I, W-A-V-E, that can attach to an HVAC system. I've been meaning to research that. Maybe we'll do an Ask the Expert with a HVAC contractor and discuss that some. But anyway, Tonya, you also said, in addition to the best practices, keep looking at and checking the CDC website and their guidance. But you mentioned if you can't get your hands on certain products, there are things you can do, right?
Yes, absolutely. At the end of the day, soap and water is the best. If you do not have Clorox, if you do not have Lysol at home, if you do not have sanitizer. For sanitizer, washing your hands, we have to go back to the ABC song. So you sing the ABC song, and then at the end of that, you've washed your hands long enough. Another thing is, if you do have some Clorox, it's very limited. You'll see a spray bottle here. You can get that at any Home Depot or Lowe's. You get that spray bottle. Put about an ounce of bleach in there, fill the rest of it up with water and maybe just a dab of Dawn detergent. Shake it up, get you some paper towels, saturate that solution on the paper towel. Use that like a Lysol wipe or Clorox wipe. That will also work. The main key is the 10-minute dwell time. So as you are massaging the doorknob or the light switch, you want it to air dry. And once it air dries, then it should kill the virus if it's present.
So you want to get it good and wet. Now, guys, be careful around your outlets and switch plates doing that.
Absolutely.
Generally, you want to get it good and wet and let it dry on its own, right?
Yes. Yes, it's really about because it's not enough to spray the surface. You actually have to massage the surface. You have to wipe it away. Okay, so that's the main thing to walk away from here. But with your light switches, like you said, definitely you don't want it too wet, but wet enough that you know the surface is wet.
Okay, that's really good information.
Mhm.
And that spray bottle is what, 24, 32 ounces, something like that?
Yeah, that one is 24 ounces, I believe. So you're looking at like an ounce, of bleach, and then the rest water.
And didn't you say like people can use the guidance of it'll barely cover the bottom of the inside?
Absolutely. Yep, that's a good guideline. Almost like if you're making some tea and you use honey and you just want it to coat just the very bottom of it, that's the same concept of about an ounce of bleach.
And then you won't stain your clothes if you get it.
The Dawn detergent, the reason why I said put a drop in there, that typically helps to reduce staining. Typically, I have not experienced any staining with this process. So you just want to test it out. You don't want to use, and that's a good point, and you don't want to use this on like fabrics. This is for hard surfaces for you to use.
Okay.
Mhm.
Tonya, well, so people got a little recipe if they can't get stuff at the store. And so that's really helpful. I haven't seen bleach I've seen it out, but I've also seen plenty of places I can still get it.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, and hopefully people have some in their homes, because using that small amount, it would take you a long time to use it all up anyway.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tonya, I want to thank you for joining us today. It's been great having you as a referral partner and helping me with some of my properties, and just knowing that you'll take good care of people's houses and things. And it's also been really a pleasure to see you grow your business. And I'm not blowing smoke when I say I really love small business and I love local business. And you've just been just a glowing example of what somebody can do when they put their mind to it. So congrats on all your success.
Well, Anne, thank you so much. Obviously, I could not have done this alone. I have my partner, my husband, Jeffrey Chappell, as well as my team. They are phenomenal. They are very dedicated to us. On average, they've been with us, 2 years out of the 5. So that says something for the way that we're running our company. And then it's also local businesses such as yourself that really help us and gave us a chance and continue to refer us business. So thank you so much. You've been a great partner.
Well, you're welcome. We're happy to, and I want to continue to see your success. If people are interested in contacting Tonya, you just saw her contact information there. You can always reach out to me or Jennifer, and we'll be happy to get it to you or make a connection. If you've got questions for her, she really meant what she said. She really is big on educating people, and she would be happy to answer questions. So if you have any, I'm sure she'll be happy to answer them. I don't know, Jennifer, do we have time for 1 or 2 questions, or do we need to wrap up?
We probably should wrap up. We're hitting a half hour. So
okay.
We like to keep it about a half hour.
Yep, we do. So everybody, thank you for joining us. Tonya, again, thank you for being here for this episode of Ask the Expert Online. We've got another expert lined up 2 weeks from now. So we are not doing one next Tuesday because people's schedules might be a little off. Not that there's a lot of travel going on, but Monday is Memorial Day. So happy Memorial Day. We won't be here next Tuesday, but we will be back here the first week in June with another fabulous expert. And if you feel like there's someone you know who would like this information, remember it's recorded. You can share it on Facebook. We would love it if you would tell us what you thought, send us some questions, and share the good word. Spread it around. This information will be really helpful to people as they, figure out the new normal. So also, if you do need an expert or know somebody who does in real estate, I happen to know a really good realtor, and I'm always happy to help your buyers or sellers, or if you've got questions about rentals. So please do keep me in mind, and we will look forward to seeing you again for the next episode of Ask the Expert. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.